back to Witchcraft with the Arthritic Artisan. My name is Sandra. So which craft are we going to be doing today? Today we're going to be making this gorgeous Springtime Bunny House Ornament, and guess what, y'all? It lights up. So let's get started with this project. We're going to start by taking an open-faced ornament that I've had in my stash for a couple years now and giving it a good coat of chalk paint. I'm using the color Java from Folk Art. You're going to set that aside and let it dry, and once that coat of chalk paint has dried completely, we are going to cover the whole outside of the open-faced ornament with a nice thick layer of crackle medium. We want to have some good cracks in it, and so I am putting this on rather thick, just not quite dripping. Once you have that coated, you are going to set that aside to dry. Now, once that crackle medium has dried completely, and I let mine dry overnight, we are taking French linen chalk paint, also by Folk Art, and we're going to put a good coat of this chalk paint all over the outside. You don't need to paint the inside of this ornament, just the outside. We're trying to go for kind of a weathered look, crackled, cracked, almost tree-like. Now, once the paint has dried just a little bit, take your brush and go over the whole thing and just pull out some good chunks of that paint. Once you're finished pulling back some of that paint, you're going to let this sit and dry. And while it's drying, we are going to go ahead and get some other craft supplies ready. You're going to need some moss. I'm pulling out 3 different varieties. I've got some brown moss, some green moss, and some American moss. You're also going to need some fairy lights and one of those little bunny paint-it-yourself kits from the Dollar Tree, some floral pieces, some carrots, and a bamboo wreath from Dollar Tree. We're going to start by opening this little pack and pulling that hanging hook out of the bunny rabbit's head. Sorry, bunny. We're going to set aside that paint that comes with the kit. I am taking 3 different colors of chalk paint. I'm taking Java, French Lemon, and Parisian Gray, and just putting down lines next to each other. I'm going to take my paintbrush and just wiggle it and pick up a little bit of all 3 of them at the same time. And then I'm going to dab it or stab it over the surface of the entire bunny. This is going to give it kind of a mottled effect, and it's going to just look a little bit more natural. And while the paint's still wet, I'm taking a straight pen and I am dragging it and scratching through the wet paint in the direction that hair naturally grows. This is going to create kind of a natural hair type texture over the bunny rabbit. I don't know how well you can see the texture that's on the little bunny, but if you're doing this in person, you really can see what big of a difference this tiny little tip makes. Next, we're just going to get some blue paint. I chose blue. You can do whatever color for the eyes that you want, and I'm painting in the little bunny's eyes. Then I'm going to take a little bit of pink, and we are going to paint a little pink nose on our bunny. Now we're going to take a paintbrush, an old cheap ugly paintbrush that came in a 5-pack from Dollar Tree. These are worthless, and I'm just going to take a couple of the bristles, dip them in some hot glue, and use them as the whiskers on the bunny. It was either the paintbrush bristles or pull some chin hair out of my husband's face. Since he's sound asleep right now, I'm sure he would not appreciate that very much. Now, if you are still with me, I'd like to give a great big thank you to everybody that has subscribed, and I would like to give a shout out to my friend Daisy. Hello, Daisy. Thanks for joining. Hopefully you can see those whiskers in this close-up view. I just think it adds a little bit of character to it. Let me know in the comments section below, what do you think and what would you use? Next, we're going to take some of the carrots from Dollar Tree and we are going to redo the greenery. All you need to do is just pull that green stem out and toss it aside. Just give it a good flick and let it fly. Then we're going to take some of our own greenery and we are going to put it right back in that hole that the original greenery came out of. Look at how much better just this tiny little detail made in these carrots. Gorgeous. Once you get done with that, we are going to take a tool. In my case, I used a screwdriver and poke a hole in the back of that ornament. We're going to take the end of the fairy lights and string the fairy lights down through the ornament. Once you have that done, we are just going to shove all those lights inside, and starting with the end of the fairy lights, I'm going to hot glue them just to the outside edge of the opening. I'm going to go around twice so that it really has a lot of twinkle. It's a small opening in the fairy lights. The lights are kind of far apart on this, so I just wanted to double it up so that they're closer together. Once you're done gluing the fairy lights on, we are going to put some moss inside. I put some regular peat moss in there, followed by some American moss. I just want it to look kind of like, a natural forest nest that a bunny would like to sleep in. Next, you're going to take the carrots and you're going to put them in there wherever they are most aesthetically pleasing to you. And when you get done with that, we are going to take apart one of those bamboo wreaths from Dollar Tree and pull out just enough to go around the opening. Then we're going to measure that opening and retie those bamboo sticks together. And as soon as we get done struggling with trying to get them to stay where we need them to stay and get them all tied up, we are going to place them on the outside of the opening. And using a generous amount of hot glue, we are going to glue that into place. And with as much hot glue as I used, there is no way any hurricane in Texas would ever be able to blow this house down. If only my house were as sturdy as the bamboo that is on the outside of this bunny house, well, we'd all be safe. And it's time for a new stick of glue because I've already put one on the outside of this. Now, once you get done flooding this with hot glue, we are going to take some peat moss and just glue it to the outside also. And that's going to make it a little bit prettier and fluffier and also hide that horrendous hot glue line that we have going around the outside of this bunny house. Once you have the moss on, we're going to take the little bunny, put some glue on his bottom, and stick him inside his new home. When that's done, we're going to add some green moss to make it pleasing to the eye, a little pop of color, and as soon as you have all the green moss on, we are going to start taking the little flower pieces, my favorite, and decorating the outside of this bunny house. This all seems like it's going really, really fast, but I can assure you it took me quite a while to decide which flowers I wanted to put here. Let me know in the comments section below, what is your favorite color flower? Mine is yellow, any yellow flower, and I don't know why I love yellow flowers. Now, once we get done attaching all the flowers to this, it's going to be time to make a bow. I have to be honest with you, after about 14 attempts at making a bow and not getting the result that I was looking for, that I had in my head, I gave up and finally decided to take out my tool, the bow it all. If you've never used one of these, it's actually a really simple little invention that makes really, really great bows. I'm making a triple bow with double loops, and it's exactly what I had in my head when I was woken up from sweet dreams the other night by this craft idea. We're going to take that bow and we are going to hot glue it right above the entrance to Bunny's house. When that's done, you're going to notice that there's not enough flowers, so of course we're going to add a few more here and there. I added this little pop of color with this blue purple, I don't even know what kind of flower it is. It reminds me of the bluebonnets that grow on the side of the roads here in Texas. Just really pretty little pop of color. And guess what, y'all? We are done. Before the reveal, I do have to admit that I added a little sign to the bottom of this piece that says blessed. I just feel it was a nice little touch. Let me know in the comments section below what you think about this craft, and until next time, have a magical day.